go to.
Biaggio, congratulations on the win. I know you had a tough one in your last fight.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the emotions about coming through that last fight and then battling through again tonight to get the knockout in the third round.
I just thank God, man. Nobody likes losing. It was my first loss in a while. My last loss was my first fight as an amateur. I was in the gym Monday and right back to work. Just trying to get better and better, learn from my mistakes. It's always the small little mistakes that could be the outcome of a fight, and that's what happened last fight. Yeah, everybody knows I like to go in there. I like to bang. I like to be very aggressive. But one thing I have been trying to work on, and what you see at the high level of fighting, is patience. There's a lot of my favorite fighters are very patient, and they know how to control their emotions. They know how to control not giving in to what the crowd says. The crowd was booing a little bit because maybe the fight might have been a little boring to them. But yeah, just simple, stick to the game plan. I want to be more patient. And when you're more patient and calm and composed, you can see things. You can see what they're about to throw. You can see all types of stuff. So that's basically what happened. I'm lucky that I was able to get the finish as well. So, yeah, very grateful.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the patience and then sort of the crowd sort of reacting to it. Was it difficult for you to be able to block that out at all, or you're just so focused on the mission at hand that you're just backing yourself?
I was just so focused on the mission. There's been times where I just go, and I start gassing out. And then when you gas out, you don't really have that much left in the tank to keep going. And then now the opponent can get the upper hand on you. Now you're tired. Now you don't have as much power in your punches, all types of stuff. So stick to the game plan, stay patient. Adrian was tough. I was kicking the crap out of his legs. My leg hurts. Just stay patient and stick to the task.
And then last one for me, of course, the legendary Flavor Flav is here.
Yeah.
Celebrating. He was all smiles. You might be the happiest person in the world watching you get the knockout. Talk about your relationship with him and what that means to you to have him supporting you and reacting the way that he did.
Absolutely. Flav he's like a good luck charm. I love him. He's family to me. He's been supportive of me and my brother both since we were little kids. I first met him when I was like 15 years old. We moved into the same neighborhood that he was living in, and he's a big sports fan. He found out I was playing football at Bishop Gorman, and my dad and my mom took him to a couple games. He saw I was fast and very talented as a running back, so he just was very supportive of me. And that relationship grew more and more and more, and we got so close that my parents wanted him to be my godfather, and it was at Applebee's. So, that was a very emotional day for him and for us, and we became very, very close. Everybody knows he's, the greatest hype man, and he makes me feel like $1,000,000, so it's awesome having him around. Thank you, Flav.
We talked this week during media day. You said you love fighting. When you get a victory like you did today, does that reignite that love for the sport and everything you're doing?
Absolutely, and I feel like being able to execute what I wanted to execute helped a lot too. Like I said, I wanted to be patient. I was very patient, and that's the kind of outcome you get when you stick to the game plan. Sometimes it doesn't go your way, and maybe you have to abandon the game plan. In this case, it worked in my favor. So, yeah, it definitely reignited that fire. Before this fight, I was very nervous because, there's so much pressure, like you said, like how we were talking about. There's so much pressure in the name, and it almost feels like my career is kind of being sped run. I was fighting on this kind of stage as an amateur, and nobody really gets to do that. And, my first fight on the PFL, I was about to shit myself before walking out there. So, yeah, I love the sport. I love what I'm doing. You only live once. In the blink of an eye, I'm going to be an old man. So when I'm that old man, I want to be able to look back and say, I tried, I did it, I put in the effort, regardless of what the record is. So, yeah, I love it, and I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to be back in the gym.
You mentioned, obviously, the opportunities you've had here with the PFL all throughout your career. Can you kind of just talk about your loving relationship with the company, how they were right behind you to get you you back in there so quickly, and what are your future with them?
Yeah, you know, they believe in me. They signed me when they came to me when I was 0-1 as an amateur, and that shocked me. You know, I'm an 0-1 amateur fighter, so it just shows that they saw potential in me. They saw that there could be a future, you know, and the name, that helps, right? You know, that draws a lot of eyes. Being Muhammad Ali's grandson and being a potential great fighter, you know, they hopped right on board, and I couldn't be more grateful for that.
Last one for you. Cliff did say you can't miss another fight of yours. Are you hold him to that?
Yeah, absolutely, but I believe him. He's always there. Thank you. You all good? Thank you.